Welcome to Taste Reviews Drink Edition. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and we back for another episode. Of course, we got a new one for you today, and this one is called Green River Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So let's start with the bottle. The bottle is something different. It's based off this detail at the bottom of it, which is a horseshoe. So the whole bottle is shaped based off of this detail of the horseshoe at the bottom. Now, the label. The label, straightforward. Got the name, what type of whiskey it is. Alcohol volume is 58.65%. The proof is 117.3 proof. So this one is even higher than that 115 proof that I did a couple of episodes ago. I believe that was the Lux Row whiskey. Now, on the back of the bottle, I'll just read it for you. It says a legacy revived, founded by John W. McCullough in 1885 as Kentucky's 10th oldest distillery. Green River was celebrated for quality and became known as the whiskey without regrets before being lost to history after Prohibition. Green River Full Proof is a small batch of selected barrels. I ain't even started tasting yet. Selected barrels, blended and bottled at barrel strength. It offers a robust flavor profile that can be enjoyed neat, on the rocks, or in your favorite cocktail. Now, that's what I like to hear. You know, I taste the whiskey 3 different ways. So I'm going to hold them to this right here. Now, going to the website, which will be in the description, greenriverwhiskey.com. Let's look at the mash bill. The mash bill, which is the recipe. This one is 70% Kentucky ground corn, 21% rye, 9% malted barley. Now, the tasting notes. Full of warming spice, vanilla, caramel, and chocolate-coated peppermints with aromatic notes of cinnamon, dried cherry, and light leather. They say the appearance of it is deep golden amber and the finish is lingering and rich. Now, let's get right into it. Open this bottle up. Love that sound. Smell that cork. Smells good. I can smell the vanilla. I can smell the caramel. I can smell some spice. Guess that's coming from the cinnamon. Smells familiar. I got the pour today. Yes, got the pour. So let's start with the nose and glass and drink it neat. Good pour right there. That's why the pour is important. So it does have a nice color to it. Looks real good in the light. Move it away from the light to see how oily it is. It's not too oily. It's real thin. So now let's taste it. Let me stir it around a little bit. No, first let me smell it again. Vanilla, caramel. Smell a lot of caramel. Little spice. They said dried cherry and light leather. I do smell the leather. And this is making me think about last night I had a glass of the Lux Row. And if you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. And the Lux Row definitely had a leather taste to it. So I'm definitely smelling some leather. Let me go ahead and taste it. It does have a spice to it. It is kind of rich. They describe it as warming. I describe it more so as rich. It's a rich spice. It's like a spicy vanilla with a side of caramel. Like you can taste the caramel. That's what is making it sweet. But the spice in the vanilla is mixing more. So it's like a spicy vanilla that's sweet. They say chocolate covered peppermints. I never had a chocolate covered peppermint before, but I do love some thin mints. So I'm gonna trace that in my mind right now while I take this next taste. I'm not getting the chocolate covered peppermint. I'm not even getting the thin mint. I'm getting more of the spicy vanilla, the sweet spicy vanilla. On the finish, the finish is short. It's not too strong. You taste the spice on the front end. On the back end, you taste more of the caramel. And if you know how caramel is when you let it sit there for a while, or if the caramel is real rich, that's how the finish is. It's real, real, real caramel. That's what you taste on the back end. So the finish is not too strong. It's very short. So you'll taste more of the spice on the front end. Let me finish this off. So now, the glass with the splash of water. Go ahead, stir that up. I'm not smelling too much of the spice now with the splash of water. I'm smelling more of the vanilla and the caramel. I know they mentioned dried cherries. I'm still not getting dried cherry, but I'm definitely still smelling that leather. That leather is strong. That leather scent is strong. Like I even smelled it as soon as I popped it open and I sniffed the cork. That's the first thing I smelled with the leather. So with the splash of water, it's not too spicy as it was neat. The spice is definitely very much milder. You still tasting that vanilla. It's like it's more vanilla than spice this time with the splash of water. It's like uh, just a small hint of spice on that vanilla. But on the back end, you still tasting that caramel. It's not as sweet. It's not as rich, the caramel on the back end. It's definitely much more smoother with the splash of water. The finish is still short. It's not harsh. It's this one with a splash of water will probably be more based off of the proof of it being so high, would be more inviting and acceptable for all all types of drinkers. Neat, that's more so for experienced drinkers. With that second taste, I'm definitely getting the vanilla, the caramel is much more smoother, much more richer, not as spicy. Tastes good. And let me add this ice cube to the next glass and finish off that one and let this one get a little cold first. So I gotta say, with this one being the proof being 117.3, this one doesn't taste as harsh as the Lux Row whiskey that was 115 proof. The 115 proof Lux Row was real strong. It was really spicy, really leathery, had a it was just a lot. But this one is excuse me, burp number one, burp number two, burp number three, burp number four. I believe that's coming from that spice. when I drink it neat. But with this being 117.3 proof, it's not as strong as I thought it would be when I picked it up. So that's that's refreshing. It's much more of a refreshing taste than that Lux Row was. The Lux Row was really harsh. And going back to that episode, if you didn't see it, I said that particular whiskey was for much more experienced drinkers. I'm an experienced drinker, and it was harsh for me. Not to the point that I couldn't drink it, but to the point where I probably won't never buy it again. I won't buy it again, and I won't recommend it to anyone. So let me finish this one off, and we'll get to the glass with the ice. Just taking that full shot right there. It was much more easier to take down, much more smoother. Um, with that splash of water, I can pair it with a nice mild cigar. Um, I could have like a nice some lamb chops or some steak with that. Now, with the ice on the rocks, let's smell it. I'm not getting too much of I'm not getting too much of the cinnamon, not getting too much of the dried cherry. I'm still getting leather. I'm getting leather. I just smell leather. That leather smell is overwhelming. It's very overwhelming. So let me go ahead and taste. So on the rocks, I'm getting a in between of the neat and the splash of water. It's not as spicy, but it's not as smooth. You're getting more spice. You're still getting that vanilla, and you're getting that caramel. That caramel is very overwhelming on the back end. Not a bad thing. Definitely not a bad thing, especially for the proof that this whiskey is. It's not a bad thing. So the finish is still short. It's still smooth on the rocks. I'm still not getting that chocolate covered peppermint. And that's why it's always important to taste a whiskey, a wine, any type of alcohol, food, period, anything, any type of taste, a taste to consider, because it's all about your particular palate, your particular taste. Now, although I don't taste that chocolate covered peppermint, I'm still getting the spice. I'm still getting the vanilla. I'm still getting the caramel, but it all goes together very well. It's not it's not like one thing is overpowering one. They're blending together very well on each of them. Even when it was more spicy, it still blended well because the vanilla was the same the same you tasted the vanilla. Well, I tasted the vanilla the same as I tasted the spice. It wasn't like the spice was overwhelming the vanilla. They blended together. It was like I already said, it was like a spicy vanilla, but a sweet spicy vanilla with the caramel. On that last taste right there, on the rocks, it is still very smooth. The finish is very short. You get that caramel, you get that vanilla, you getting a little bit of spice, but it's all blending together very well. Now, Green River, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. For it being such a high proof, I like it. I'm not disappointed in buying this bottle. This is a bottle that I will actually share with someone. That Lux Row with that overwhelming spice and leather taste, I wouldn't share that with nobody because that would make me look bad. But with this Green River, I would share it with people. And just based off of what was read on their website, it definitely, well, not the website, on the back of the bottle, when it said it offers a robust flavor profile that can be enjoyed neat on the rocks and in your favorite cocktail. This bourbon whiskey would definitely go good in an old fashioned. I can taste it mixing well with some orange bitters, um, with some simple syrup just to add a little bit more sweetness to the spice. It would do very good in the old fashioned. And I can even see, mixing different types of flavors of simple syrup with this one. It will go good with it. Adding more of a fruity flavor, simple syrup, like a blackberry or a raspberry type of simple syrup, flavored simple syrup will go good with this bourbon whiskey in the old fashioned. So, out of 5 tastes, what I would give this whiskey, I would give this one. This is a tough one because I'm 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 in between the 3.5 and 4 taste out of 5. I don't necessarily want to give it a 4. I feel like a 4 is too high, but I feel like a 3.5 is too low. So I'm gonna give this one a 3.8. Since all these whiskeys always have these points in the alcohol volume and the proof, I'm gonna give this whiskey, bourbon whiskey, a 3.8 taste out of 5. I believe that it will go very well with making cocktails with. I feel like this one is more so a whiskey that you can make cocktails with, particularly an old fashioned. And per my recommendation, try to find a flavored simple syrup like a blackberry, something fruity. Burp number 4 or 5, burp number 6. So the burps don't always give you a great indication of whether the whiskey is really good or not. It wasn't bad, but I will reserve this whiskey for cocktails or with a splash of water. Neat, it's cool. I can handle neat. I probably won't drink it neat, but I will be able to handle it neat. I will more so make cocktails with this one, have it with a splash of water or on the rocks. Overall, it's a good whiskey. It's not a bad one. I will recommend it for you to try, for you to see for yourself, because that is what these whiskeys, these bourbons is all about. Trying them for yourself, coming up with your own idea of how it aligns with your taste. This has been another episode of Taste Reviews Drink Edition. I'm your host, Derek Silver. Make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, comment. Shout out to all the people who have commented on the last episode. And I'll be back next week for a good one. I already know what I have ready for next episode. I already purchased it. I'm excited about this one. So, and I'm looking forward to it, particularly for the fact that it's coming from a taste expert. This particular whiskey for the next episode is coming from a sommelier. A sommelier, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but I've heard so many different pronunciations for this word sommelier that it don't even matter. But a famous sommelier created their own whiskey, and I purchased it, and it will be for the next episode. And I'm excited to try it out because they supposed to be a taste expert. So make sure you drink responsibly. Make sure you continue supporting uh, the network each and every episode. I appreciate you. And make sure you drink responsibly. I'll be back for another episode. And I ain't gonna lie to you. This high proof got me a little buzz right now. So make sure you be careful with this one, because the finish of this particular bourbon whiskey will creep up on you. This has been the highest proof that I have tasted on the show. The last one was Lux Row 115 proof. This one is 117.3 proof. But it makes sense because on the label it says full proof. So they took a whole bunch of blended whiskeys from their batch, from different batches, and put them straight through there. Put them together. Full proof. No extra distillation, nothing. Full proof. It says on here, full proof. So I'll see you next week for another episode.